But social familiarity is one of the most significant of human needs, with loneliness and isolation representing some of the greatest of human fears. This has been a subject touched on in numerous films and books, most of which are loosely based on the book I Am Legend, which was written in 1954. But if you're like me and believe that digging up a 50-year-old book reeks of effort, this book has been made into a movie for a third time with Will Smith at its helm. Loneliness can be all too easy to come by, even in a city home to millions of people. How lonely we really are, though, is measured by only a single means: who will miss you once you're dead, and how long will it take them to find you? One of the unfortunate trends observed in Sydney lately is that people die and remain undiscovered for very long periods of time. Last week, the body of George Coloma, a 64-year-old man from Sydney's west, was found in his home by police up to 12 months after he died. So badly decomposed was the man that the only means of formal identification were from dental records. This is not an isolated incident in this city. In 2006, the skeletal remains of two elderly public housing tenants were found in their apartment some 6 months post-mortem. This prompted the New South Wales Department of Housing to carry out audits of its 50,000 tenants over the age of 60, with rules stipulating that the department must make contact with them twice a year. One such audit found a New Zealander who could have been dead for as long as 2 years. But the last complete audit was carried out in May of 2007, and it appears that Mr. Coloma must have slipped the net. So what depressing state of life's affairs must transpire such that we're not missed for so long? In the case of George Coloma, his last known contact with the outside world was on January 18, 2007, when he phoned Meals on Wheels to change his order. Meals on Wheels is a community service which delivers prepared meals to elderly or handicapped people. Mr. Coloma left a note on his door instructing meals be delivered to be left in an esky by the door if he didn't answer. Authorities were alerted 7 days later when Meals on Wheels volunteers noticed that the dinners hadn't been touched. Records indicate that Mr. Coloma had no next of kin, no telephone, and he wasn't in any of the local hospitals. Police were called to the apartment, but after 20 minutes of knocking, everyone just presumed he'd locked up and left. But after nearly a year's worth of mail crammed his overflowing letterbox, and there was still no sign of him, police were called to break into the apartment, where the grisly discovery was made. Perhaps part of the problem here is electronic funds transfer. Coloma was receiving welfare payments electronically and having his rent direct debited. So as far as the Department of Housing was concerned, he was alive, well, and paying his bills. If welfare payments were delivered via bank cheque, however, the lack of human intervention would eventually lead someone to notice that either the cheques weren't being cashed or rent wasn't able to be debited. With the reintroduction of welfare via bank cheque, people are bound to take more care than before. Consider the case of the 66-year-old New York resident Virgilio Cintron. He had died of natural causes, but he was the recipient of a social security cheque valued at $535. Two of his friends, shown here at their later court appearance, were aware of this fact. They bundled Mr. Cintron's body into an office chair and wheeled him to a cheque cashing store in Hell's Kitchen. Mr. Cintron was left outside while his fraudulent friends went in to cash the cheque. But this social security scam was brought undone when a detective who'd been eating lunch nearby became suspicious of the trio and put an end to this little exercise. Well, okay, so perhaps his choice of friends was questionable, but at least Mr. Cintron could say that someone noticed or cared that he died. Well, no, he couldn't really, because he was dead. So my advice to you all is that if you do find yourself a little on the lonely side and you feel your time might be up, then just go out with a bang. Be remembered, or at least let someone know that you've got a lot of cold, hard cash to pass on when you pass off. Take care out there.
Do you ever get lonely, baby? Don't you ever get